Okay, well, here we are in my Gmail account, looking at the email that's been sent to me by, looks like Steve Woodyard's assistant, Martha Tisdale. And this is in response to the notice that I sent to him off LoopNet on the 96 unit property, Whitney Manor, that we were interested in. And this is a response that we've got back. So there's a phone number there. So what I'm going to do is just take that phone number and give them a call.
Hello, this is Steve.
Hi there, Steve. This is Ben Innes-Kerr speaking from Dolphin Capital. Just getting back to you in response to email you sent. I'd sent you a notice from LoopNet regarding Whitney Manor Apartments. Just had a couple of questions about that. Wanted to see if you had a few minutes.
Sure.
Okay. I got the setup Martha sent me, and said there that the property is 43% occupancy. Is
Correct.
that still the case, or has that changed
Yes.
at all?
No,
It's
that's still the case.
still the case.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The other thing was looking at the rents. Looks like this is a Class C property. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Depending on where you're from, some might be C minus.
Okay. Well, would you say the area is Class C as well?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. So solid Class C.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many Section 8 tenants does it have?
You know, I don't know exactly, but the general answer I always get is about 10%.
Okay.
But most people have 10% or less, and unless it's like 100%, there's usually no in between.
Okay. Okay, so a certain percentage, Section 8.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so it is a Class C area.
Yes.
And you mentioned on the lower side of
What part of
Class
the
D.
country are you from?
Beg your pardon?
What part of the country are you from?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Yeah, well, it'll be similar to your low-income areas of Indianapolis.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
this clientele doesn't care about their credit. When they can't pay you, they can't pay you. They're going to take off as quick as they can, and or disappear on you overnight, or you got to have them set out on the street.
Right. No worries. Okay, well, I'm looking for Class C properties with value plays.
Okay.
Things like, deferred maintenance, improved management, rehab, that kind of thing. What do you think the value plays are on this property?
I've got a client that's doing a property right up the street.
Right.
He's leasing a net of 8 per month. His net, and that doesn't include normal turnover. In other words, he's got 250 units. He's at about 70% occupancy now. He nets about 8 units a month, improving over last month's occupancy.
Right.
Again, that if somebody in an occupied unit moves out and he moves someone in, I'm not counting that.
Mhm. Okay, on this property though, what do you think the value plays are? Is there
Same
like
thing. I mean,
deferred maintenance or?
yeah. The property could look pretty good. It sits on a hillside. Our parking lot's in terrible condition. Everywhere you look, there's deferred maintenance.
Hmm.
It's had a fire in 4 of the units. That building looks pretty rough. There's sewer backup in one unit that they have not repaired, so that unit's had water in the floor before, and can't rent the unit upstairs because of the smell.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere you look, there's going to be things to do, and I'm shocked that it's 43% occupied.
Okay.
That tells me that it's a pretty good little rental market out there. Now,
Yeah.
what I can show you and what is on our website, which I would direct you to give you a whole lot of good information,
Mm-hmm.
is a market study in that particular submarket that will show you
Mm-hmm.
in that submarket when you take out the distressed properties like Whitney Manor,
Mm-hmm.
the occupancy is like 95%.
Okay, for the area, it's 95.
Yeah, for that specific area.
Okay.
pull renovated properties. That's when you pull, if there's, like if you pulled my client's property out that's 250 units, that's 70% occupied, pulled Whitney Manor out, the ones that are up, good condition, well taken care of, are 95% occupied.
Right. So this property stabilized, you could be potentially looking at a similar occupancy.
Correct.
Okay. I noticed your notes on the renovations to get the
Yeah.
units ready. The 8 units at 20,000 per unit. They just need to
That
be.
would be the burned units. That would be the 4 burned units. That would be the 2 sewer units. And I think there was 2 more that, or maybe I think there's only 6, but I always say 2 because oftentimes I add a couple extra because oftentimes even the on-site manager doesn't know something because they hadn't been in that unit in 5 years.
Right.
I just threw in a couple extra.
Sure. And the majority of the rest of them you've got estimated at 8,000.
That should be high end, and that
Yeah.
would include your exterior stuff too, like to do your soffit painting. That would include parking lot. That would include all of the deferred catch up. While we have it on a per unit basis, it's intended for interior and exterior.
Right. Okay. Looking at the property financials,
Please don't.
well, have to. You've got actuals on the left and your pro forma on the right. So the pro forma is based on like market rents, and
Yes.
the
Yeah.
actuals are what
Everything's based on market rents. In fact, when you go to our website, have you been to our website yet?
I think I have. Yeah.
Okay. When you go to our website and log yourself in, it will just a one-time login, and then from then on it recognizes your email address. You can check all 17 properties on our website after that.
Okay.
Without having to re-enter yourself 17 times. So
Okay.
don't be afraid of that. But what you'll see in the property information package is the rent survey that I'm mentioning to you.
Okay.
It shows you the market occupancy for that submarket.
Right.
And so everything is kind of taken. My pro forma, you should be able to go to any management company in town and say, hey, is Woodyard full of it, or is this right?
Okay. So where do you?
They should say, this is pretty close to right. Some might think it's high, some might think it's low, but it'll be real close either way.
Okay. And where does that data come from? Does it come from your own rent survey, or do you pull that off CoStar, or where?
I'm a member of the local apartment association,
Okay.
and so they I think it's around 65,000 units they survey in the city.
Okay. So it's
real
from there.
data. It's not home cooking or anything.
Okay. Okay.
You're using some of our local colloquialisms here. I'm not as country as that sounds.
It's not a problem, really. Is the property is it individually owned, or is it bank owned, or?
That's an interesting question. It's kind of bank owned. They're more of an investment group, really.
Okay.
I view them as kind of a lending source. I wouldn't call it hard money, but it's not easy money. It's probably a hard money type lender that does this around the country.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Not a problem. Okay. Well, I think it would be something I'd be interested in. Would I be able to get some financials on it? Could you
Yep. That's
send
on the website as well.
like a trailing?
Everything is there waiting on you right now. Income, expense, financial statements, rent rolls.
Okay, so I can get a trailing 12-month P&L and last month's rent roll?
There's no trailing, but there would be year to date. There would be last year. However much the owner has or management company has, we post on our website.
Okay.
So everything that we can get now, we may not have September's report yet, but we should have the one before that, August report.
Okay. Well, it sounds good. And
you can email me back and say, hey, I'd love to see this, this, and this. Now, they typically don't do trailing 12. It'll depend on the management company, actually, if they'll do a trailing 12 or not. Typically, they don't. They say, hey, here's the information. You can play with it how you want to play with it.
Okay. And so that's following the link that says Whitney Manor Apartments website?
It'd probably be easier to go to, the one that Martha sent you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you'll click on that, that'll take you directly where you need to go. And then when you get done with that, just out of curiosity, you click up at the top of that page and it'll say View Properties. You can view all of our properties. We've got 17 listings on there. We specialize in apartment sales.
Okay, great.
We've done it since 1984, so one day we will know what we're talking about. Not quite yet, but we're getting closer every year.
Okay.
And so you'll see 17 properties on there, and some others you might want to take a look at for value add opportunities.
Right.
We've got a really good location, one that definitely is a value add, called Summer East.
Okay.
So definitely take a look at that one.
Okay.
We've got one called River Chase, definitely value add. This group paid $4 million for it in 2006. We're asking $2.5 million now.
Okay.
1997 construction, so it's newer construction.
Right.
We've got one now near Graceland, Elvis Presley's Enterprises area, which is a nice little jobs and employment area for C-grade residents. One called Shelby Pines, that's bouncing back and forth between a 10 and 12 cap on asking price.
Okay.
That's a real good value add. So we do what you're looking for. So
Okay.
there'll be a number of opportunities down there for you.
Well, that sounds really good. I'll go to the site now and
Okay.
get that info. If I have any problems or questions, I'll call you back.
Okay. And on the homepage, there's just some good information about the jobs and employment, kind of what's going on in the city, just to kind of let you know.
Okay.
From a cycle standpoint, we've bottomed out about 210, 211. We're starting to tail back up. If you took out Class A sales are back to pre-boom levels.
Okay.
Class B is starting to get really strong. What has not moved yet is exactly what you're talking about, is the C properties.
Right.
We think we're going to enjoy some nice appreciation on that C-grade product over the next few years.
What would you say the market cap rate is for Class C properties?
It's hard to say, because you look at deals like Whitney Manor. I mean, it essentially has no cap rate. If you bought it today and got a great deal, your cap might be 2%.
Yeah.
Because you're 43% occupied and expenses continue while the income's not. So that's a real hard question for me to answer.
For a stabilized Class C, though.
Oh, if you were stabilized?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If you were stabilized and you did, all the things that you needed to do, you had a 12-month history of stabilized operations, with no deferred maintenance. I mean, it's still C-grade product, but you're making it look as good as it can look. You would probably appraise around 8.5 is my guess.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay, excellent. Well, thanks for your time, Steve. And
Okay.
I'll go look at the info, and I'll be back in touch.
Do that. Go to the woodyardrealty.com and look at that. And we try to really answer everything for you on there before you ask for it. So there's
Right.
some, other than getting something updated, we should have everything that you need.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks,
All right,
Steve.
take a look. And when you narrow in on one, I'll tell you the good and the bad and the ugly about the area, the neighborhood, the management company.
Okay.
What I would like is, when you come to town to look, it's exactly what you expected.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's couldn't ask for more.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Okay. Well, just a couple of comments on the call with Steve. All I was doing there was following the broker script and just using the basic questions there, and then improvising a little based on just my own feel about what was going on there. But the core of what I was doing was just following one question after another down the broker script, having reviewed the executive summary that he had already sent me. Usually I don't like to stay on the phone that long with the broker, but looks like Steve, he really just liked to talk, and he felt like he had a lot to say. So it sounds like a good broker. I have to say, I didn't want to say to him directly, but I have to say the information that he's put together is really, really good. He's just hit all of the issues that I'm interested in, and looks like he's got the financials, the trailing 12 months. Well, the 12 months P&L, as much data as is available. The rent roll, I might hit him up when I call back for a more recent rent roll, and hopefully there's a turnover report there too, with the costs, the expenses involved with fixing up units when tenants move out. Probably not, though. I mean, this property looks like it's pretty damaged and pretty beaten up, so they may not have that. But that was the thrust of the call. I really, just wanted to stick to business, build rapport with the broker, and then get off the call. But he wanted to go on, so I indulged him a little bit there. But what I'll be doing is getting the data and just filling out the property information sheet, and then coming up with a basic offer price based on the information I have. And in doing the analysis, if anything jumps out, we'll make some notes about just questions, outstanding issues that haven't been addressed, or any information that we may need to have in order to verify assumptions. And then we'll use that information as the basis of a follow-up call with Steve. And once we've got that information, we can tweak the analysis and the offer price a bit, and from there go ahead with the LOI. But having looked at this property on Google Maps and looked at the neighborhood, be interested to see his rental comps. But everything looks good on this property, and obviously with the amount of rehab going on here, it's going to be a rock bottom offer. So that's it for this video, and the next video we'll go through a property information sheet and put together a basic offer price. See you in the next video.